Good morning and welcome to the Monday, July 15, 2019 meeting of the Parks, Recreation and Community Services Commission. The meeting is starting at 2:35 p.m. and I'll begin with roll call. Commissioners Babayan?
Present.
Kalfayan? Present. Michaels?
Present.
And Wolfson?
Present.
Report regarding the posting of the agenda. The agenda for the July 15, 2019 regular meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on or before Friday, July 12, 2019. Members of the Commission, as you know, Ellen Asatrian had been serving as President of the Commission since November 2018. However, she recently resigned from the Commission, and therefore staff recommends that a President Pro Tem be selected until we have a full Commission and hold election of officers again. We don't need a motion or a second, just a general consensus suffices. If you wanted to have a discussion among you and select a Pro Tem.
I would nominate Commissioner Wilson if she's willing.
Okay, I'll do that.
And second.
Okay, so Commissioner Wilson will be serving as President Pro Tem. Since she did have the position as Secretary, if you would please select Secretary Pro Tem as well, that would be great.
I nominate Devine Babayan. Is there
I'll second it.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a consensus for both. So if President Pro Tem Wilson, if you would please preside over the remainder of the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Do I move?
If you choose to, that's
I
fine.
can
Or if you wanna
stay here
there.
for
Okay.
now, yeah.
So I'll call the next item. It's item 2, upcoming council agenda items.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Wolfson, members of the Commission. We have a few items coming up. First one, June 23rd, is a report from the County of Los Angeles Workforce Development, Aging and Community Services, accepting funds in the amount of $23,000 for our SSP Senior Supportive Services Program. On July 30th, acceptance of Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act English Language Learner Co-Enrollment Pilot Grant from the state of California. We have another acceptance of funds of Measure H through LA County in the amount of $100,000 for the RICE program. And another one from WIOA and the acceptance of funds for the Disability Employment Accelerator Grant from the state of California to serve people with developmental disabilities for the Workforce Development Board. I would also like to thank former President Asatorian and Commissioner on her service to the Commission and to this department. We wish her well, and hopefully she'll be attending our events and our programs in months, days, years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next is 3, Commission staff comments.
Well, I'd like to say that I appreciate Ellen Asatrian's service, and I will miss working with her on the Commission, so I just wanted to say that publicly. And if she happens to watch this, wish her well. Thank you.
I'd also like to share in the well wishes for Commissioner Asatrian. I do want to go ahead and ask, the summer concert series at Verdugo Park started last week, and I just wanted to confirm the parking in the lot across the street is available for that event. I had asked that question before and wanted to see some type of signage at that lot.
President Pro Tem Wilson, Commissioner Michaels, yes, the lot is available, and we could look into putting signage just to point people to the lot for parking, if that would make it easier.
I think that would make it easier, and that letting people know that there is ample parking might help with drawing attendance.
Point well taken.
And President,
Pro Tem Wolfson, members of the Commission. Commissioner Michaels asked us last month about the tree gender question about having a report brought back to Commission. I have spoken to my colleagues at Public Works and Forestry Department. We have a new urban forester who will be looking into it and then likely come to Commission, provide either a verbal or written report for your edification on the whole concept of gender of trees in the city.
Thank you.
Unless there are other comments, we can move to the next item.
Item 4 is oral communications. I don't have any cards. Item 5, consent items. At A, approval of the minutes of the commission regular meeting held on June 17, 2019.
I will move the,
I'll second.
Commissioners Babayan,
Yes.
Kalfayan,
yes.
Michaels,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Wolfson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item, please.
Item 6, reports, information only. At A, section activity reports. 1 is recreation and community services.
Good afternoon, President Pro Tem Wolfson, members of the Commission. My name is Siva Garabedian, Senior Community Services Supervisor with the Community Services and Parks Department. So I'd like to go over our monthly activity report for the month of June. As you know, our summer season began on June 17, Monday, which included all of the department's day camp programs at various parks and facilities, as well as our summer aquatics program and our swim lessons at Pacific Community Pool. Throughout the summer, we ask our colleagues in various departments to come by and show off any equipment, vehicles, that kind of stuff. So here's a picture of Glendale Police Department showing up to Spar Heights Community Center for our Spartacular Camp, sharing their vehicle, what's inside, lights and sirens, all of that good stuff for Heroes of Glendale Week. And we'll be doing this throughout the summer at various parks, whether it's Glendale Fire Department, Beeline, our Library Arts and Culture Department, or police officers showing up and basically providing an additional program for our kids and our campers in our day camp program. At our senior centers, during the month of June, we celebrated Father's Day, and we also had an elder abuse workshop presented by Foothill Family. Youth and Family Services continued their bi-weekly teen night out meetings, and then our June workshop was a workshop about vaping that was presented by Glendale Police Officer Vlad Agopian, and talked to the kids about the common mistakes people make about vaping and the harms that vaping can have. For our STAR program, Students Training as Role Models, we had 2 graduates at the end of this program year. Here they are getting a mayoral commendation for their community service. Our STAR program continues during the summer months on Tuesdays from 12:30 to 3:30, and they have a lighter schedule, not so much learning-based, but more fun, summer fun type of activity, and they go visit the pool every time they meet on Tuesdays as well. Our Trails and Open Space program continued. On June 15, we had a Riverwalk Work Day where volunteers helped trim some trees and remove some invasive plants. On June 22, we had over 50 volunteers show up at Duke-Majan Wilderness Park. The morning's activities included more weeding and watering of some trees. And on June 8, we had our first campfire program. The topic of the program was Oh Deer. We had 65 people show up to the campfire program. They got a chance to take pictures with our taxidermy deer. Kids had a craft where they could make their own deer antlers. They learned about deer from around the world as well as North America. And the evening ended with s'mores and roasting of marshmallows. That concludes the events that we had so far from the last commission meeting to present. And the next portion of the presentation is our upcoming events calendar. As you all know, July is Parks Make Life Better month, and I kind of skipped that slide. So we encourage our community to come out and visit all of our various parks and programs, whether it's just picnicking or going to the playground, whether it's an active play like getting a soccer game going or flag football or whatever it may be. Parks is the great month to do that. July is a great month to do that in all of our 47 parks around the city. July 17, our summer concert series will continue, and this Wednesday, the band we're featuring is Incendio. Teen Night Out will continue on July 19th at Pacific Community Center from 5 to 9 p.m. We have Friday Night Lights as well. This Friday, July 19th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Verdugo Skate Park. Kids could enjoy the newest skateboard videos on a big projection screen. There'll be some raffle prizes and giveaways. Free snacks will also be provided. And the admission for Friday Night Lights at the skate park is free. We have our Wilderness Workday on July 20th, and July 20th is the 50th anniversary of man landing on the moon. So the topic or the theme for the snacks for that day will be moon pies and tang. And everyone's welcome to join us from 8 to 12 at Duke Nuegian Wilderness Park. July 20 is a busy day. We also have our 26th annual cruise night on Brand Boulevard between Milford and Broadway. We're expecting over 300 classic cars. We have live performances by Desperado, Mirage, and Heartbeat City. And the evening's host is DJ Brian Byrne. In conjunction with Cruise Night, Glendale Youth Alliance is doing a beer and wine garden at the courtyard at the Alex Theater, and it's a fundraiser for their various GYA programs. Continuing on, July 24th, next summer concert in the park. The evening's performance on the 24th would be Ghost in the Machine, which is a tribute band to Sting and the Police. On July 25th, this event's reserved to our day camp participants, and it's Let's Play Day, something we've been doing for the past couple of years at Pacific Community Center and Park out on our baseball field. It's a day where we bring all of our camp kids from all over the city to Pacific Community Center, and they have an opportunity to enjoy each other and play some water games. Moving on July 27th, we have a campfire program called I Will Survive. It will cover survival skills on hiking and outdoor in the wilderness. We'll talk about trail safety, preparing for your hike, what to do if you get lost or hurt, dealing with the summer heat, hiking with your dog, basic first aid tips, etc. The evening will also feature some crafts, and it will conclude with our s'mores and marshmallows. On July 28th, Sunday at the pool, we have a Vartivar celebration. It's an opportunity for anybody that's at the pool to have free reign and soak anybody they want that's out on the pool deck. It's a celebration that we've been having for the last couple of years, traditionally from different cultures, but we celebrate it here as well. It's a very popular event. Moving forward, summer concerts in the park on July 31st. We're featuring the Breakfast Club, which is a flashback 80s band. We have Teen Night Out on August 2nd. Friday Night Lights will take place again on August 16th. On August 3, we have Street Food Cinema at Brand Park, and the feature for the evening is E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Summer Concerts continues on August 7th. Second to last performance featuring Orquesta Charango, which is sponsored by the LA County Arts Commission and supervisor for the 5th District, Catherine Barger's office. On August 10th, if all the stars align, would be a great night to watch the Perseid meteor shower, and that'll be at Duke Nuegian Wilderness Park from 8 to 10 p.m. We'll be keeping the park open from 8 to 10, specifically for people to be able to watch the meteor shower. Our last summer concert's coming up on August 14th, featuring Bobby and the Gypsies. On August 15th, we have our Summer Luau celebration at our community center, Spar Heights Community Center, and the Adult Recreation Center during our senior lunch program. Teen Night Out will take place on August 16th. A Riverwalk Workday on August 17th. And then August 17 is also when we'll be doing our grand opening for Maple Park's all-inclusive playground. The event is scheduled from 10 to 12. The official program will start at 10:30, and the event will feature various service providers in addition to the Community Services and Parks Department being out there, some additional crafts and some games, but we want to keep the focus to playground as well. So. And then finally, right before our next commission meeting, we have a Yukio woodblock Prince of Japan presentation taking place at Brand Park, the Friendship Garden and Tea House from 11 to 1. This event is a suggested donation of $20. And that concludes our upcoming events through our next commission meeting, if anybody has any questions.
I have a question. Your concerts are once a week during this time, every Wednesday night? Is it how it is?
Yeah, President Pro Tem Wilson, Commissioner Kaufman, our summer concerts in the park started on July 10. They'll go 6 weeks through August 14. It's every Wednesday night from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Verdugo Park on the north end of the park.
Thank you. This next item.
Next is 682, Park Services.
Good afternoon again, President Pro Tem Wolfson, members of the Commission. We'll be reporting for activities for the month of June. Our team completed 89 work orders, 49 by groundskeepers and 40 by irrigation repair crews, for total labor hours of 872 hours. We have a number of projects we'd like to highlight for you in today's presentation. First, if you recall, last month we touched on the Central Library. We had gone through most of the landscaping job, but it was not a completed project, so we wanted to bring it back to you as promised with the completed project. You had seen these first two photographs of the north end already planted. And after this job, we ended up planting this section, which is the walkway, south of the walkway from the parking lot. And following the planting, we began mulching the entire area. And after it was mulched and being irrigated, the project also had the turf, which we'll get to in a minute, in the south parking lot. East of the parking lot by the newly planted areas. Where you see dirt on this side right there is where we began the planting of the sod. We laid sod there, and the should be growing in just fine. This is a picture as of this weekend, I believe, how everything has taken root and is beautiful. Where that sign is grow, that is a location at the request of the library. We have put in 8 by 8 square, I believe, DG area that they can display artwork such as this sign, as well as in the future whatever art pieces that the Library Arts and Culture Department deems necessary to be ideal for this site. Our team is also working on little plaques, wooden plaques for the names to make it more of a demonstration garden. Those also will be displayed in this garden at the Central Library. Adams Mini, we talked about this. We resurfaced the playground surfacing by rubberized surface. We only have a couple of pictures of the finished product, as well as at Harvard Mini Park. Now, Harvard Mini Park was wood chips, what we call FIBAR. It is protective surfacing wood chips. We replaced that with the rubberized surfacing, as it tends to do well, it lasts longer, it limits liability, and we'll probably get about 10, 12 years out of this instead of on an annual basis, supplementing the FIBAR up to $1,500, $2,000 for a small facility such as this one. So we're looking at long-term savings and reducing our workload at these sites by converting into the safety rubberized surfacing, and it's fully ADA accessible. This is another picture of the same playground at Harvard Mini. Emerald Isle Park. We had a number of challenges at Emerald Isle Park. Given the amount of rains we experienced, we had failure of the drainage system at the playground. Now, the drainage system there was very old and eventually had filled in. You see the lines and the dots drawn on this plan. We mapped these based on where the irrigation lines are supposed to be. But what we experienced was browning of the FIBAR, a smell, which we figured out was just water sitting there. After a long time, water sits there, it's going to start rotting and turning things into what you see here. This became a project that the entire team jumped on, became an emergency job. We had to shut down the playground for a couple of days to be able to get to this. But once we determined the actual cause being the drainage, we trenched the entire area, pumped all of the water out, and found where it connects to the drain, storm drain, and links out to the V-ditches. Another picture of the digging, and here's where the trenching. You see that white drain right there. That's what the old one used to be. And it was a very old design of just PVC piping. We have a new system now where it does not allow dirt to compile inside and just water, and it'll flow a lot better. We went to the new system, as you see here, with the gravel and the sleeves with perforated piping. We've seen this successfully applied in some of our other facilities, so we applied it here as well. And once it was all connected, of course, we had to bring in new fiber. We dumped all of the fiber that was there before. We had a truckload and a half, and we continued to spread it by using the crew, and the playground was open again within a couple of days. The rains really helped this year with this problem. Actually made it more visible. It probably was slowly going to get to that point, but it made it an emergency project versus us figuring that out every slowly. And at the same time, we had challenges at the V ditches. We had these cleaned twice a year, but given the rains and sediments that kept continue coming down, the V ditches at Emerald Isle were also filled. And we contracted with our friends at the GYA. They send a team and a crew out there and help us clear the V ditches. So as the rains continue to come in, these V ditches, twice a year, we get them cleared out to make sure the water continues to flow as it should and not create other problems for us within the facility. At Heritage Garden, we talked about this project, I believe last month. We had your blessing to move forward. Council approved it as well, the fitness equipment. Our staff began excavating the sand from the area, from the location. It is now ready for pouring of the concrete, which is scheduled later this week, and we'll be working with our friends in Public Works to deliver that. And GYA will be helping during the pour as well as during the installation of the actual equipment. We're estimating a shipment at the end of this month. We are still on schedule to deliver by August 7th as we presented to Commission at this project. We had to excavate 6 inches because per manufacturer we need to have 6 inches of solid concrete for this project. Maple Park, as you know, the Maple Park grand opening of Shane's Inspiration Playground will be in mid-August. However, the project was essentially completed late last month, and we did have a soft opening for our community. At the same time, part of our involvement with the project was we assisted the contractor in doing all the excavation of the existing fiber and some of the demo work, as well as the irrigation upgrade and landscaping. That reduced the contract by approximately $60,000 as far as the cost goes. And we worked very closely with the contractor because we had to be in the same area at the same time. On beginning May, I believe it was the first week of May, when April, the fencing came up for the contractor to close the playground from the public. As they put the fencing up, we began our excavation. There were a lot of tree roots, and it was a bit of a challenge to do all the demo. We had our crews go in there, work around the existing playground, remove all of the fiber, most of which we're able to reuse and recycle in other sites as mulch, because ultimately it is just wood fiber and can be used as mulch. Then the contractor began excavating the playground footings. What they had to do with the footings is those are the concrete foots of every single pole that was there, and they had to break it up. You could see on the far right-hand corner, top right-hand corner, where they had to break the concrete off the footings so we can move the posts as we are saving this playground for a possible donation. And as they progress, we progress on our end. We had everything excavated and ready for them to start their construction. They began trenching, forming the concrete barrier around the perimeter of the playground, and delivery of the playground equipment came in, and they continued working in that area. We fixed the irrigation while they were forming most of the concrete footings and the concrete curb, as you see here, and the posts. However, there came a point where we had to step back, allow them to finish their work before we came on board, because having heavy equipment and landscaping going at the same time was not going to be very feasible. They were going to be trenching all over and stepping all over the new plants. So we waited for them to finish. As you can see from the side here, the surfacing is all completed. All the benches, everything has been posted, and we began laying our landscape and started doing all of the planting for the area. We even expanded the planting to the parking lot. There were a lot of shrubs from the past construction that had died out. We extended them from the original concept of what we had to the parking lot, as well as the walkway east side of the playground. And after it was planted, of course, as we normally would, we had it all mulched, and the site is ready to host the event in August 17th. This is the southwest end of the playground, and this is the parking lot after it was replanted. This is that area between the parking lot and the playground. We did not have any plants. What we thought would be best in that one location on the right-hand side, instead of doing plants that people just park and trample over, we decided to put in a couple of trees. Long-term, these trees will provide shade for the playground as well as keep it open as people continue to walk through that area. And it's, as we see people doing their little normal paths of travel, we're trying to avoid planting in that area so we can preserve what we have and not waste money on plants that are going to die. And here's the south end of the facility again of Maple Park. And here's the beautiful playground. It turned out to be a very nice design. People love it immediately. Day after it was open, the kids were all over the playground. And you'll get a chance to hopefully be there and see yourself during the grand opening as we move forward. And this is a photograph from, I believe, the upper Maple Park area. Montrose Park. We've had a lot of small-scale projects, so this may be the last one here for you. Maple Park, we had replaced all of the picnic benches in the area. What we had to do was remove them all. Our staff chopped them all to pieces and hauled them away. And we ended up bringing 12 new picnic tables. Concrete picnic tables, all sealed for graffiti, to preserve from being graffitied, all have the skate little bars on there. And we hired a contractor to place them at their location. And here they are. What we also have in play right now for Montrose Park, we're looking at testing a new ash container and barbecue combo in one, concrete. So what it is, it's a barbecue, but as you're done barbecuing, you just pull a trap door and it drops all of the coals, the hot coals, right into a bin, which is a concrete bin. And after a while, our staff would have to just shovel those out. We're working with the manufacturer. I believe we have a requisition in place to get 6 of those with the 12 groupings of the picnic tables to test it out over at Montrose Park, see how it works out. Although it is unfortunate to say that literally 2 days after these were installed, somebody decided to graffiti a couple of the tables, which we're able to remove by pressure washing. And what really sticks, though, is they carved into it by knives, so they etched into it. It is unfortunate. It is something we deal with occasionally, and we ask our viewing public to tell their friends, their colleagues, their kids to avoid such things, because what we do is for the beautification of the parks is for the community to use, and we'd like for everyone to avoid damaging and vandalizing what we put out there. That is all I have for this month. We will have a couple of other projects to present next month. We've started July, our ball field season, ball field renovations. We are at Verdugo Park. We're working in the softball field as we speak. We're commencing the project at Heritage Garden, including Commissioner Kalfayan, your request of doing the shade in a faster method. So we're going to look at putting more of the wooden planks to provide a little more shade than it currently has until the wisteria grows in to cover as it was intended. And we're also over at Carr Park doing some improvements at Carr Park, some turf damage that we experienced over the past couple of months, as well as re-landscaping, doing a lot of tree work. So the crews will be at Carr Park and Verdugo this month, along with other small-scale projects that may come up. That is all I have for this month.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Okay. Then, there being no further business, I move that we adjourn.